Yeah, I'm starting the recording. So yeah, I was saying that EC2 is like EC2 instance is a virtualized server, which runs in AWS data centers, and it is basically designed to make web scale computing very easy for developers. And you can deploy your application over there on EC2 instance. And basically, EC2's simple interface allows us to obtain and configure capacity with minimal friction, you can say. Minimal friction or minimal inconvenience. And it also allows us to get a complete control of our computing resources on which we will be working on. And it takes very minimal time as well to obtain and build new servers and new server instances basically. And basically it takes minutes to build new servers and server and instances on EC2 server. So basically you can build your server and deploy your applications over it within minutes, and also we can quickly scale it up or down based on our capacity or of computing resources. So yeah, that's what the slide says. It says that it's resizable compute capacity, and we can have a complete control of our computing resources, and it reduces the time to obtain and boot new server instances to minutes. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Yeah, so let's just discuss some basic facts about EC2. It's elastic, which means scaling capacity. We can scale the capacity of computing as the requirements change, which means you can scale up or scale down your capacity, or you can in the middle of your application, like deployment of your application, if you want to scale up, you can do it anytime. And it is low cost, which means you pay only for what capacity you actually use. And we have the choice of operating systems like Windows and Linux. And it's a global infrastructure, which means we can deploy across AWS regions and availability zones for reliability. And yeah, basically we can leverage the global infrastructure which is there to deploy our applications across regions and different availability zones for reliability. Reliability as in if in one availability zone something crashes, you can replicate it to other availability zones as well, so that that application is available almost anytime. So moving ahead, we'll just discuss the basic steps for launching an EC2 instance. So yeah, before creating an EC2 instance, we need to think about the region in which we would want to launch our instance. And next, we will try to choose our machine image, AMI, which is also called as Amazon Machine Image. And AMIs are like building blocks of EC2 instance, and they're templates of computers volume, basically. So AMIs can have a public or private access. And once you have an AMI selected, you can select an instance type. And finally, we can configure networking and firewall rules, or networking and firewall rules in the form of basically security groups, permissions, or block storage volumes. And then we can use a key pair to log into an EC2 instance. So yeah, that's what it says in the last point. So in this slide, basically it says we start by determining the AWS region in which you want to launch the EC2 instance. And then we launch an Amazon EC2 instance from a pre-configured Amazon machine image. So yeah, we create an Amazon pre-configured machine image, and that image is like a template for what kind of instance we want. So we need to create the template, and based on that template, we launch that instance. And then we choose the instance type based on CPU memory storage and network requirements. And in the end, we configure network, IP address, security groups, storage, volume, tags, and key pairs. Key pairs are used to log into our system. So yeah, we create a um we can create a customized key pair, or like we can choose from any of the key pairs available as an option to us. So yeah, moving ahead, we'll discuss about more about AMI now. So an AMI includes the following. It's a template for root volume for the instance. For example, an operating system, an application server, and applications, and it contains the launch permissions that control the AWS accounts, and can use the AMI to launch instances. And it's a block device mapping that specifies the volumes to attach to the instance when it's launched. So basically, AMIs are nothing but templates that contain software configuration, such as you can say operating system. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, such as like the operating system, application server, and there are applications we can use on an EMI to launch an instance, which is basically a copy of AMI, which is running as a virtual server on a host computer, and um, yeah, and you can also launch as many instances as you want from the AMI or the template which you have. And you can create your own AMI by customizing the instance that you launch from, suppose, a public AMI. And then you can save the configuration as a custom AMI as well. And for your own use. And AMIs also include a block device mapping, and that specifies the volumes attached to an instance when it is launched. Okay, so yeah, just give me a second. Yeah, moving on to the next slide. Yeah, so we basically select an AMI instance based on the region. Okay, so based on the region, architecture, operating system, and the permissions and the storage for the root devices which we want. So yeah, let's just discuss about these EC2 instances. So we can launch multiple instances of different types from a single AMI itself. And yeah, and when we are launching an EC2 instance, and instance type, so sorry. So basically, an instance type essentially defines the hardware of the host computer that you are using for an instance. Host computer as in the EC2 instance which you are using. So each instance type offers different compute and memory capabilities. And we can select an instance type based on the amount of memory and computing power that we need for our applications. And instance keeps running until we stop or terminate it, and until it fails. And generally instances are deployed in EC2 public or virtual private cloud, and in an availability zone within a region. And we can also configure security and network access on EC2 instance, like as we've discussed earlier. And Customers can also deploy multiple availability zones within a region. And like we can choose over an instance type you want, and then we can start or terminate or monitor as many instances as we want. Like once we have created an AMI from an AMI basically. So yeah, like basically EC2 instances, as you can see here, like they can leverage they leverage elastic blocks to volumes or EBS in each of the availability zone. And basically, we can terminate if we want to run in multiple locations. Sorry, basically, we can like determine if we want to run in multiple locations, utilize static IP, or if we want to attach, suppose, persistent block storage to our instances. And EBS volumes can be saved using snapshots as well in S3 buckets. So yeah, this is like how an instance works. First of all, we create an AMI, and then from an AMI we can create multiple copies of an instance. And in virtual private cloud, we have like the multiple copies of an instance, and we have EBS block storage. And the block like the snapshots of the block storages are stored in EBS snapshots, and the
What
rest of
is a
the
snapshot here? What is a snapshot here?
so snapshot is like the logs. It's like the log of your EC2. Log as in suppose when you are logging into a system, at what time you're logging into your system. So that snapshot is stored in EBS. And then suppose you are after logging in, you are like uploading something on S3 bucket, and then so that is captured as an event or a snapshot. And after that after like adding some data in your S3 bucket, you are storing it. You are creating a suppose a file or an object within an S3 bucket. Or apart from that, suppose you are like creating an IP address for like EC2 instance. So these are the events which are captured in a EBS snapshot. So yeah, all the events or all the logs are captured within snapshots. And suppose you want to repeat any event or repeat anything. So you can go on that snapshot, click on that snapshot, and you can repeat that particular step from there. Uh, so yeah, that was about like EC2 instances. Let's just discuss about some basic history facts. So, yeah, we will be able to store unlimited number of objects in a bucket. Okay, we can store unlimited number of objects in a bucket, but yeah, like in one object we can store up to 5 TB of bucket, like 5 TB of data. Actually, there is 100 bucket limit per account. Okay, so we can store or we can create up to 100 buckets per account. And you can store unlimited number of objects in a bucket. So we have a bucket, and like within that bucket we have objects. So for each account we have a limit of 100 buckets, and within those 100, like within each bucket we can store unlimited number of objects. But yeah, the only limitation is the size of the bucket is up to, sorry, the size of the object should be up to 5 TB. Okay. So yeah, that one second. So yeah, it's also designed for 99.99% durability. That's 99.11 nines. and 99.99% availability of objects within a given year. Uh, yeah, basically what happens in S3 is when you upload an object, it replicates uh, like this object to multiple facilities within a region. So yeah, that's the reason it's highly available and durable. As in like it's fail safe and yeah. So we can also use S3 encryption to use the Amazon key management services. And yeah, we have this HTTPS endpoint to store and retrieve any amount of data at any time from anywhere on the web. It's highly scalable, reliable, fast, and inexpensive. It's optional server-side encryption using AWS or customer managed provided by client-side encryption. So yeah, this encryption is provided by Amazon Key Management Services. We'll learn more about this in the upcoming sessions. We have access logs for auditing, and it provides standard-based REST and SOAP interfaces. So we'll learn about this as well in the upcoming sessions. So for now, moving ahead, let's discuss some common use scenarios. So yeah, like AWS has storage and backup, and it has application file hosting, which means it can host files such as MP3 and MP4 files. It supports media hosting, supports software delivery as well, and it stores AMIs and snapshots. And we can store a static website on S3 as well. Basically, by configuring a bucket for website hosting and uploading the website contents on the bucket. And the pricing of S3 is basically based on the capacity and bandwidth which is used by us. So like basically what happens is all the bandwidth into AWS is free, but like the charges are applied on the bandwidth which goes out. So prices are based on GB per month basically, and like you can also view the access logs for the buckets and its objects, and like we can choose within the geographical locations for S3 to store our buckets and its contents. So moving, okay. Yeah, I think for the like introductory session, I had this much only. Maybe we can discuss in detail about the other services in the next session.
Okay. Any practical approach with
Yeah,
Java?
basically, like once we discuss this theoretical things, like tomorrow, I think I'll finish this introductory part. So yeah, once we finish this one, we'll be beginning with the practical, and we'll just try to create a Amazon account and we'll try to practice things. Maybe from like day after tomorrow.
Okay, but I need 1 hour each day actually.
Yeah, I know.
Because today only.
Yeah, like 20 minutes session was that. Yeah, from tomorrow, yeah, we'll have that 1 hour session. Actually, this was a very um very crisp introduction. So yeah,
Okay. Okay, fine.
okay,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, you have my email ID, right? So you can
yeah, I
upload
have it.
there. So
Yeah,
this
I'll
PPT,
send this
and then
PPT across.
share the link. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay then. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.